Welcome to today's lesson on pie charts. Before we have a look at pie charts, let's have a look at this cup here that can be filled up with 400 milliliters. I'm going to tell you I've filled it up halfway, and I'm going to ask how many milliliters are in the cup. Well, you could take this whole amount, 400 milliliters, and multiply it by a half, the amount of water that's in the cup. And that would tell us that we have 200 ml right here in the cup. Well, we can use the same kind of logic here with this pie chart. We could say that we've had 400 customers in a day to this ice cream shop. And here's a pie chart of all the flavors: lime, orange, raspberry, grape, and chocolate. And I can ask you how many customers chose chocolate. And I can tell you that half of all the customers had chocolate. So what we do is 400 times a half, and that would give us an answer of 200 customers chose chocolate as their flavour of choice. So this is when you're told the total amount in the pie chart, and you are told or can work out the proportion. This is the fraction 1/2 or 50%. And you can use that to work out how many are in this slice. How many people are represented by this slice here of chocolate. Another way for us to look at these problems would be that we have some water in a cup, and we're told that this is a quarter of how much the cup can be filled, and we're told that this is 100 mils. Now the question becomes is, how much is the total cup, the whole amount? And what we can do here, because we take 1/4 and times it by 4 to give us a whole, we would take our 100 milliliters, times it by 4, and that shows us the whole cup can be filled up by 400 milliliters. Similarly, we might have a pie chart here that shows the number of children attending a theatre performance and the rest being adults. And we get told that a quarter of the entrants are children, and they were 100 children. How many people came to watch the show in total? We do something very similar, where we'd want to see this 100 here, here, and also here. Which means that we'd have to do 100 times 4, and that tells us 400 people came to the show in total. That is our second concept. And this can be done with portions of 1/10 or 10% as well. We can have 10% of the attendees to a show being kids, or we can have 1/10 of the cup being full with water. And what we can do here is we can either know the total amount and have to work out what this is. So for example, if really this full cup was 1 litre, if this was 1 litre, then we know that this here is 0.1 litres, because we've just divided by 10. Whereas if we know that 3,000 people came to the show and 10% of them were kids, 3,000 divided by 10, because there's 10 lots of 10% slices, 10 of these little slices in the pie chart, that's going to be 300 were kids. If 10% of these attendees represent 5 people, then we know 50 people went to the show, because we do 5 times 10. We can use these two ideas to help us find out a lot more about pie charts, but before we do that, it's important to have a look at how many degrees there are around a point. So we know that the degrees around 1 point all the way a full turn are 1 out of 1, 100%, or 360 degrees. So if a pie chart's ever full, 100%, 360 degrees, it's just got one option in there, one category. And if you ever find half of a pie chart, that's 50% or 180 degrees. A third of a pie chart is 33.3%, and that's going to be 120 degrees. If you ever see 120 degrees on a pie chart, that's a third. And a quarter of a pie chart is shown by 25% or 90 degrees. So quarter of this full circle is 90 degrees, half is 180, and a third is 120. Some less common parts of a circle worth knowing are a fifth is 20% or 72 degrees, a sixth is 60%, sixth is 60 degrees, which comes up quite a bit, and an eighth here is 45 degrees. A tenth or 10% is 36 degrees, and a 12th is 30 degrees. If you want to make some notes, these are going to be your most useful fractions to degrees right here that you will be using in pie charts. So if you want to find out what 60 degrees of a pie chart is, it's a sixth. Now we can have a look at this kind of question where we have some information, a pie chart about the colours of cars in a showroom. One of the questions here are what fraction of the cars are white? And we can tell here by this little square that that means 90 degrees, which tells us that a quarter of the cars in the showroom are white. Because of that 90 degrees, remember 90 degrees equals a quarter. Now we get some more information. 12 cars are white. So 12 cars are white. So if we were to try and make up the whole pie chart, we know that we would need 4 lots of this segment here that represent white. So we do 4 times the number that are white, 12. 4 times 12 is 48. And now we know that in the showroom we have a total of 48 cars. This all represents 48 cars. So here we have a question looking at a pie chart here that represents different types of popcorn people like. 12 people chose sweet, 9 people like salted, and 3 people like toffee. Here we have a question, what percentage like sweet? Well, if you add these all up, there's 9 and 3, there's 12 on this side and 12 on this side. 12 people like sweet, that's 12 out of 24 people in total, which is 50%. So we'd say 50% of the people like sweet. Here's a question, what fraction like toffee? So we can see 3 people out of 24. But we can simplify that. We can divide 3 by 3 and 24 by 3. It has a common factor of 3. If we do that, we find out 1/8 of the people like toffee. Here we have what fraction don't like salted. Don't like salted are the toffee and the sweet people. That is 12 add 3, which is 15. So it's 15 out of 24. And just like before, we can divide both of these numbers by 3. So we get 5/8. 5/8 don't like salted.